Hi, yogis and bobcats. My name is Kaya Malik. I'm a yoga instructor at Ping Recreation Center. Thank you so much for joining us on our virtual fitness YouTube page. This is about to be a short yoga sequence, second in a series of deep stretches, and this one's going to be targeting the lower body. So we'll be doing a lot of the legs and the hips and the lower back and all that good stuff. So without further ado, you won't need any props, so we'll go ahead and get started in a child's pose. And we'll start today in a wide-legged child's pose. So whatever that means for you, maybe you just want to stay with your normal mat's width if that's already plenty of a stretch for you, or you can go a little wider than your mat's width, keeping your toes together. Then we'll melt our chest down, finding some opening through the front of the hips here, resting the forehead and the arms down. Start to breathe into the belly, starting to take inventory of the sensations already present here. Keep sitting the hips back to the heels and reaching forward with the fingers. Bringing the awareness to the breath, we begin to rest our awareness in the present moment. Rest our attention fully on the sensations in the body, what's happening right now. So every time a thought floats into your mind, just notice it. Don't pass judgment on it. And then come back to the breath gently, consistently. We use these breaths to find ease in our postures, especially some of these lower body deep stretches that require a lot of our attention and our willpower to stay in them. Inhale to come forward to a tabletop. Bring the knees to hips distance apart, finding a nice long neutral spine. Just take about 3 breaths to bring some movement into your spine here, whatever feels good. So maybe a few rounds of cat-cow, something more animalistic, some side-to-side movements or some circles, anything that's calling to you from your spine today. Okay, and then when you're done, we'll step our right foot forward, finding a low lunge. So we want to make sure our feet are on more of a railroad track as opposed to a tightrope. So we have some space between our feet, about hips distance space. And then we want to make sure we have plenty of space between our knee and our front heel. You see how my right knee is stacked on top of my right ankle, and I'm a little bit sitting forward of my left knee. I'm not right on top of the left knee here. Good. Inhale to shine your heart forward, sitting deeply into this hip stretch here. Maybe you bring some blocks to your sides if this is a really deep stretch through the front of both legs. You can come elevated or bring your hands to the top of your leg. Take 3 big breaths here. On your exhale, frame your foot with your hands. Gently send the hips back, straightening through the front leg, finding half splits. Here, you can either peel the toes up towards your face, finding a deeper stretch through the back of the lower leg, or keep the toes pointed, whichever you prefer this morning. 3 breaths here. In your inhales, imagine a little halfway lift in the spine, finding length before your exhales melt you a little farther towards your knee. We'll inhale to come forward to our low lunge, again sinking deeply into the hips. Exhale, send the hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana. Just going to take that flow 2 more times. Inhale, come forward, send the heart forward. Exhale back, send the hips back. Good. Inhale, bend into the front knee. Exhale, straighten. And this time as we come back, we're going to sit all the way back onto our heel. And then what you can do is just kind of sit off to the right side just gently. And you guys can't see it, but what I'm doing is sitting off so that my left shin is on the mat, but I'm sitting not on my left heel. So I'm over to the right of my left heel, yeah? Good. And then this may already be plenty of a stretch through the right leg and through the top of the left leg. You can stay right here, or you can melt forward, reaching for the right foot. Let the head hang heavy. 3 breaths here. Good. Inhale to press back into the hands, come back up to a tall spine. And then this transition's a little tricky, so listen carefully. We're going to hug our right foot in and bring the shin to the mat. So now we're sitting in a deer pose. And then what we're going to do is lean off to the right hip, lift the left leg up and over, finding Gomukhasana, so that you guys can see I've got a little stacking of the knees happening here. And it's not going to look exactly stacked on top, all dependent on your own body and the muscle and the fat tissue in your legs. So wherever you end up, the closer your heels in are towards your glutes, the less of a stretch it's going to be. So if your heel's all the way out here, it's going to be deeper through the hips. If they're both closer in, it's going to be a little gentler, and you can stay upright, or same thing, you can start to walk your fingers forward, melting the head over the knees, just stopping wherever the legs and back ask you to stop. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Inhale to rise up through the upper body if you're not already there. Exhale to settle. Then we'll come into fire log. So we're going to keep the right leg on the mat. Just bring it out a little bit so that the shin is towards parallel with the top of your mat. Doesn't have to be exactly parallel. And then you'll bring your left foot over so that the left foot is on top of the right knee and the left knee is on top of the right foot. So we're finding this stacking here like logs, fire log pose. And then same thing here, either stay upright, this may be plenty in the hips already, or you can walk the hands forward, finding 5 breaths in a fold. And flex through both feet, keeping the knees protected here. And let the shoulder heads and then head hang heavy. Finding a stretch through the upper back, and the neck as well. Inhale to come back up to a tall spine. Another big transition here. You can use your hands to lift the left leg off the right. And then we're going to send the left leg all the way behind us. So you can do this in a couple stages, lifting off the mat if you need to. Eventually, the top of the left leg will rest on the back of the mat. So you're on the top of your foot and on your knee. And your right shin is close to parallel with the top of your mat. If that is too much in your hip, certainly feel free to bring your left heel a little closer in towards your right heel in towards your left hip point. First, we'll tent up on our fingertips, finding a nice long spine. Inhale. Exhale to walk the hands forward. Last time, we're going to stop wherever your back asks you to stop. Maybe that's on your forearms. Maybe that's on your hands. Maybe it's on your forehead. 5 breaths wherever you land. Keep flexing through the right toes. Your next inhale lifts you back up onto your hands if you're not already there. And let's go ahead and sit our weight off to our right hip. And then you can bring your right heel a little closer in towards you so that you can come back to your tabletop, stepping the right knee back to meet the left. And then let's just shake the hips from side to side, relieving the hips from this movement. We're going to do that whole thing on the other side. So we'll step our left foot forward, finding your low lunge, hands framing the leg. Again, taking your time to make sure you have set up a correct alignment in your legs. This is really important. We especially want to make sure that the knee isn't going forward of the ankle. So what I see a lot is this, and that's not necessarily the best for our joints and our legs. So we want to make sure we're stacking and you're grounding down through the whole top of your right leg here. Maybe you come up onto your knee, so you hug your left hip back, and exhale deeply into the front of both legs, finding that hip flexor stretch. 3 breaths here. Good, stay for the inhale. Exhale to frame the foot. Gently send the hips back, straighten through the left leg. Again, you can either peel the toes off the mat towards your face or keep them pointed down towards the mat. Both are really good stretches. If you're pointing the toe, it's a nice stretch through the top of the foot. If you're flexing, nice stretch in the back and the Achilles heel. So it's just up to you. On your inhale, you imagine a little halfway lift in your spine, and on your exhale, you melt farther forward towards your front leg, making sure you're not locking out through this left knee. Take 3 breaths here. Inhale to shift forward to your low lunge, bending back into the left knee. Exhale, flow back, Ardha Hanumanasana. Keep that gentle bend in the left knee. 2 more times. Inhale forward. Exhale back, feeling the stretch shift from different legs, from different parts of the legs. Last time, inhale forward, bend deeply into the front knee. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana, straighten through the leg, and this time we'll shift all the way back. And you guys can see it a little better. I'm sitting my heels, or my hips off to the left side of my heel, and making sure that I'm not on the inside of my foot. This is really bad for my knee joint, but then I'm staying on the top of my right shin, staying upright, and then you can stay here, finding a long spine, feeling the sensation in the back of the left leg, top of the right, or you can start to walk your hands forward, finding a forward fold. One more big breath. Inhale to start to lift back up to a tall spine. Great, and then we're gonna hug the left foot in, and so that we're in this deer pose, and then carefully lift the right leg up and back, coming to stack our knees, finding Gomukhasana. So again, the closer the heels are in towards the hips, the less of a stretch. If we bring this out farther, it's going to be much deeper, especially through the outer leg. So it's just dependent on how far you want to go today in your practice. Either you stay upright or you exhale to start to bend over the knees, feeling and breathing into the low back. And we'll inhale to bring us back to our tall seats. Good, and gently shift the left foot out so that the shin is parallel to the top edge of the mat. You can use your hands to lift the right leg up and over, stacking the right foot on the left knee, the right knee over the left foot. Maybe you shift your hips around, finding that sweet spot. Again, flexing through both toes. And as you can see, it's totally okay. There's a little bit of space right here. If it makes you more comfortable, you can place a pillow or a block. We'll only be here for about 5 breaths, folding forward to your extent. Finding your expression of the pose for 5 breaths. Deeply into the belly, we inhale. You can open the mouth, exhale to relieve some internal heat. Keep rooting down through both sits bones into the mat. Our inhale will lift us back up to a tall seat. Maybe you use the hand to lift the right leg up and around and back. If you're like me, maybe you have to shift forward on your mat. No biggie. And we'll send that right leg all the way around so the left shin stays at the top of the mat. The top of the right leg reaches back. Maybe you look over your right shoulder. Make sure that whole top of the right leg is resting down. Inhale to tent up onto your fingertips. Find your gentle back bend. Exhale down to your extent. Listen to your body. Be patient with it today. 5 breaths wherever you land. Inhale to press back into your hands if you're not already there. Set your weight off to the left. Bring the left heel in a little bit so that you can step the left knee back to meet the right. Tabletop. Swing the hip side to side. Release the spine. Good. And then we'll come back onto our knees. We're going to do a similar thing as we did with our forward fold. This time we're going to do both legs. And if that feels like too much, you're welcome to at any time extend one of the legs and just take a half. But again, we're making sure we're on the top of our legs and not on the inside of our feet. And then we're going to lift up from the back, shift our tailbone underneath, and then slowly start to work back. So again, this may already be plenty of sensation through the front of the leg. You're welcome to stay right here, even upright. Or if you'd like to keep moving back, maybe you come onto your forearms. Maybe you can come all the way onto your back. Reaching the arms overhead, reaching for opposite elbows, and finding that deep stretch through the whole front body, especially the front of the legs. Should feel really nice and yummy. Last inhale here. In your exhale, you can start to press into your hands and your forearms if you're on your back. Slowly coming back, supporting the neck. Good, and then sit your weight off to one side of your heels. Extend the legs long. Come back onto your back. Then we're going to take a supine twist. We have a couple options here. So first we'll just hug our right knee into our chest. Hang out here for a sec. Keep hugging the right knee up into the right armpit. Finding space into the hip, into the upper hip flexor. Good. And if you know your hamstrings are feeling really tight today, you can stay right here. Or you can try it and you can always come back to this position. We're going to slowly start to extend our right leg long. Finding a hamstring stretch. Maybe just flex the toes up towards the ceiling. Keeping a gentle bend in the right knee, making sure we're not locking out. Then if you have your knee bent, you can use your left hand to gently guide the right knee over to the left. A regular supine twist. If your hamstrings are feeling nice and ready and open today, maybe you reach up with your left hand, capture the outer edge of your right foot, Extend your right hand out by your side about 90 degrees. And then really slowly with control start to lower over to the left. Good. I'm going to run into my bolster here, but if you can reach all the way down to the ground, certainly welcome to finding this really deep stretch in the outer edge, the right leg, the IT band. Keep the right shoulder rooted in the ground if you can as you find this twist. Good, and then keep your grip on the foot, or you can release it as you inhale to lift it back towards center. And then exhale to bend into the foot, bring it back down to the mat. Extend the leg long. We'll do the same on the other side. So we'll inhale, lift the left knee into the chest. First, take a moment, hug that knee tightly up and towards you, up towards your armpits, finding space in your hip. And either you stay right here, keep hugging the knee tightly into your chest, stretching through the upper left leg. Or you can reach behind your left heel, slowly start to straighten that leg out. Keep reaching down through the right heel, planting down into the mat as you stretch through the left leg here. Just breathe into the sensation. And if you have your knee bent, go ahead and drop the left knee over to the right. Or you can capture the outer edge of the left foot with your right hand, reach the left arm long, and slowly with control start to lower the left leg all the way over to the right, finding this deep twist. Keep reaching down with the right toes and sending the left shoulder down towards the mat. Maybe you send the gaze towards your left fingers. This is also a really great posture to practice with a strap. So if you have a yoga strap at home or even just a belt or a scarf that you can wrap around your leg to make this pose more accessible. One more big breath here. Stay for the exhale. And then with your inhale, either release the foot or keep the hand on it as you gently guide it back towards center. And then exhale to bend into the knee. Release both legs down towards the bottom of the mat. Hands reach out by the sides, palms face up. Release any remaining bits of tension in the body. Just let all thoughts go out of your mind. Let your mind go blank. And find final resting pose, Shavasana. Corpse pose. Start to pull your breath deeper and deeper into your body. Eventually filling all the way up into the belly and allowing the prana, the life force, to bring movement back into your fingers and your toes. And slowly into the rest of your body, awakening back up. May bring some movements into your face, into your mouth. Stick the tongue out nice and long. Feel that stretch in the back of the throat. And we'll inhale to reach the arms up and overhead for a good morning stretch. And using your arm as a pillow, we'll roll to our right side, supported fetal position. And take a moment here to allow the effects of your practice to wash over you. Just notice how your legs and your lower body feel different than the beginning of class. Even how the upper body feels different, how the breath feels different, how the mind feels different. Just bask in that for a moment. And whenever you're ready, you can start to press into your hands, coming back up to a tall cross-legged seat. Once you get there, reclosing the eyes, pressing the palms together at heart center. Bring your thumbs to third eye center, the space of knowledge and intuition. Together we bow and say, Namaste.